So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to be doing a really quick kind of down and dirty with Premiere in the hope of helping you with your next project. Um, I have shown you the script that I would use for the video. At least I showed you in class. And I showed you a really quick kind of storyboardy thing in class as well about how I planned this particular project out. And I don't really care if you use iMovie or some other software or Premiere for this, but I'm going to show you how to do this in Premiere, and you might as well get some experience. This is not meant to be a portfolio project or anything. This is meant to be more about learning and kind of working through any issues you have with Premiere. So let's go ahead and get this started. So the very first thing you need to do is figure out all the pieces that happen to be going into your project. Now I put my stuff in here, okay, in my short descripted video folder. All right. And I've got a whole series of things in here. This is a music track, believe it or not. It's only audio. It's Mark Kahn's True Companion. So I decided to do a soundtrack, well, a music track over the top of that, as well as the script that I will actually use. Some individual shots. Okay, I created a slide because remember I asked you to go ahead and create a slide with some data on it. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than this. I'd used Illustrator to put it together and then dropped it in here. Um, I made these things make sense. And when I showed you the script, these numbers would make even more sense. It tells me what order they're going to kind of appear in and helps me keep track of them as to which clips, which parts of the video I'm actually putting them into. Okay. And then at the very bottom, um, I actually have a couple videos. I have some moves, okay, which are just videos taken with an iPhone and an MP4, which also was an iPhone, I believe, but it had been converted to an MP4, um, which is just one of the video profiles. Anyway, all of these file formats are supported within Premiere. All right. So the key is to get all the pieces in one place. And if later on you decide you need to add some pieces, that's okay. You can add them later using your little project section and your navigator. Um, it's not too tough. Okay. So we'll go ahead and start this. I'm going to go ahead and hunt down Premiere. Not quite sure why I have it sitting next to these two. Anyway, I'm going to launch Premiere. So we've assembled the pieces. We're going to launch Premiere. We're going to create a new project. Okay. And I'm going to call this one Clumber Demo. I used Clumber because I had these videos sitting around. And your videos don't need to be super high grade or anything like that. I'll talk about automatic clipping to frame and stuff like that in the actual class. So if the resolution is different, it'll just end up being a little bit blurrier. The software will actually convert it to the resolution that you want for your particular project. All right. So I gave it a name, project location. This means where are you going to save it to? Okay. So I'm saving it to the same folder. It's the desktop Premiere folder where the lessons are. Okay, so that's basically the same place that we were just at on my desktop. I'm not going to be using a template for this one, and I'm just going to leave the import settings on their default. Okay. Now I just go ahead and tell it, lower right-hand corner here, create. And then it's going to go through a process, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now I could have added all of the pieces in that create window. Okay. But I'm going to do it this way just to make things simpler for you. So this is the normal window you work in Premiere. We haven't imported anything yet. So I'm going to go ahead and import. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to location where I stored everything. Okay. Now you'll notice that the software does support AI files because it's an Adobe application, but I actually exported it when I was in Illustrator as a JPEG, just to make life a little bit simpler. And so I am going to shift click to grab that stuff. And then I'm going to scroll down and grab everything else. Now, I have not done the voiceover yet because you kind of want to assemble your video before you do the voiceover because you don't know for sure necessarily exactly how long your video is going to be when you add the transitions and everything. Um, and when you add your title, you don't know exactly how long that's actually going to be until you actually do it. And so, the voiceover is not here, but this is the entire True Companion song, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit import, and all of those pieces have come in. Okay, I am in this mode. If you happen to be in your list view, this is what you're looking at. I kind of like pictures. I'm a visual person, and so this is the way I happen to be looking at it. There's my audio file of True Companion, which is the song, the music. Here's a couple movies, and if you kind of hover over them, you can kind of see some activity, and you can drag across them to actually see what the video is going to be. I actually know that because I've done this once already, that I'm probably not going to use this video because there's just no time. And it's just going to add 29 seconds to a video that's already longer than it needs to be. Okay. This image is not as high a resolution as I would have liked, but to expedite this, I'm using a lower resolution version. It's an etching from early 1800s that show clumbers. And some pictures that I had taken when I was around a whole bunch of clumbers one time. Okay, so there's all the pieces. So now, believe it or not, it's simply a matter of going ahead and assembling it. Now you'll notice there's nothing here yet. Premiere is an excellent drag and drop application. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring in my first piece. Now, I had decided based on my storyboard and my script and stuff, that I was going to use this Barnum Puppy JPEG as my starting point. And so I'm just going to go ahead and drag that in. Okay, what did I just grab? That is not, I must have had too many things selected. So I'm going to do a Command Z. Okay, and it went back, which is great. Okay, so I just want my Barnum Puppy. Come on, you. There we go. Okay, now I drag it in. Now it's showing as this tiny little wedge right here. I'm not going to get stressed out about that. It's because I'm really, really zoomed out. And this is your zooming function right here. So you can zoom in a bunch, okay? Because by default it comes in at a certain length, okay? In this case, this single image comes in as for a duration of 4.5 seconds basically, and you can leave it on that if you want. I'm actually probably going to make it a little bit longer um, by simply dragging it. Okay, now it's at 5 seconds. Okay, so I added half a second onto that thing because this is going to kind of be my title frame. All right, and so my title is actually going to start. I want to kind of start with this and then kind of have my title show up. All right, if that makes any sense at all. And you don't have to do that. You can just go ahead and have it go boop and pop on, and there it is. It's great, super awesome. Don't have to get too complicated with that at all. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I really wish I had more space in here. And this is my playhead. Okay. Nothing too exciting there. And keep track of everything that happens to be going on in here. So my project, this is the stuff I've dragged in from my project. Okay. And you have a bunch of other things sitting here, like essential graphics, libraries info, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff in there. Okay. If we come up here, okay, we have text and all sorts of other stuff like that. Okay. Now I'm going to add the title. So guess what? They even have a pull down for that. Okay. Graphics and titles. Okay. Now I don't really, I'm going to go ahead and activate this window right here. Okay. I'm going to create a new title. Now I want my title to be horizontal. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a horizontal one. So I'm going to go to text, Command T if I wanted to, and it automatically creates a layer down here and snapped it to the frame down here. Um, you know what? I'm not going to get very complicated with it. I'm just going to kind of leave it right here. Maybe I'm going to have it appear a little bit later. So you'll notice I kind of moved it over a little bit. And I'm going to shrink it down so the title is only as long as the actual frame is. And you'll notice this is how complicated it is to make things a little bit longer or shorter. Okay. And what you can do here. Now, I don't want the soundtrack that was originally attached to this particular video. Okay. And if you kind of drag across it, it'll actually play that video. So I want this to go away. And there's different ways to do that. I could just turn down the volume, but why have an extra soundtrack in here if I don't need it? So I make sure that this object is selected, this clip, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to scroll down. And there's this function here. Since this came in as a clip with video, with audio and video, they're linked together, okay, on purpose. And you can link stuff later on if you want to, but they're stuck together on purpose, kind of like a group. Think of it as a grouped object in Illustrator. So I'm going to unlink them, okay, which allows me to go ahead and delete that soundtrack. I don't want that soundtrack. Now, this is my first video editing within this thing. So rather than this just being a frame that's here for a couple seconds, I have an idea of how I want this to work. I can look through this thing. Um, And really, it's just one puppy kind of here in the beginning. And so I can go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm probably going to drag in a ways. Now, it's kind of nice because it actually previews this as you drag this in. Okay. So it's showing me what's happening. Oops, I accidentally grabbed part of the other thing. So I am going to drop that. Oops, did not mean to do that. And it's giving me a timeline in there. And so I'm going to go to where the activity is really starting to kick off. I know that I only want this clip to be about 30 seconds long. All right. And so I'm going to release it, and it will have edited all of the pieces. So I'm going to scooch it over. Okay. So that's where it's going to start. Okay. And now I'm going to come to this end. Okay. And I'm going to click and I'm going to drag until I'm done with the action. It's about there. Okay. Okay. So let me see how long this one happens to be now. Well, 1 minute seems pretty long. And so I'm probably going to drag a little bit more in. There's a good start. I'm going to come on this end. And what I'm doing is in my lower right-hand side there with my smart guides on, it's letting me know how long this is. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, because I don't want to cut away any decent action either. So that should be good. Okay. That should be okay. I'll leave it on that. Okay. And I could speed it up, but puppies look really weird if you speed it up. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. So now I'm going to go ahead and add floppy skin, which is my next scene. I know that, yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. Floppy skin. Okay. Now it's this one was chosen on purpose because it is actually, oh, I forgot to do something while I was here. Okay. So you can also clip clips, okay? You can frame clips. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this and I'm going to go down to effects and I'm going to auto reframe on that. Boom. Okay. So now it's went ahead and adjusted that. While I'm here, I know that I'm going to need to do it to that. So bam, there we go. I'm going to move the playhead down here so I can kind of see how it's going to look. Okay, there's the two girls. Looks good. Floppy skin is supposed to be 5 seconds. I'm trying to be fairly consistent on that. So speed duration, trying to make this video a little bit predictable to the viewer. There's that. And that's set. So now next we have the heaviest. And so click down here, go back to project, heaviest. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and go back to effects. It's kind of nice when you have a bigger screen than I do, because then you can make this window a little larger, so it's much easier to browse in here. Anyway, okay. And now I'm getting to my next clip, which is clip 1420, according to my script. And so I am going to go back to my project. Okay. And 1420 move, there it is. Yay. Okay, it is Riley. You might recognize Riley playing with the puppies. This is a much shorter script or a much shorter section of video. Once again, I do need to go ahead and unlink these. So I activate this clip, right click, unlink, click on the sound that's in there and delete it. We don't need a bunch of puppies yelping. Okay, probably don't need that. Um, Now this one has not been auto reframed yet, and I can go ahead and do that. Um, Effects. And because this one is so long, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this. This one, I don't mind it. I'm just going to cut out this last little part where Riley's kind of standing here by himself just to cut it down a little bit. Right where she lets go of it. Okay, that's a good place. And next we have the Fab Five. Go back to my Clumber demo, my Fab Five. Now remember, this is the video you're actually working on. Well, okay, yeah, or actually what happens to be active over here. So if I click on that, anyway, don't mess with these too much. I'm not going to use that one. I decided already, but I need the Fab Five. And a right click. Make sure that it is 5 seconds. Oops. Now, as you're working on this, experiment, make some mistakes. Don't get stressed out about it. It's not brain surgery here, okay? If something accidentally happens, don't worry. You haven't destroyed the original. This is simply your content. This is copies of the content, kind of like links almost. So you're not destroying any original stuff. You are creating something. And you have the same functions that you have in anything else. You can do a command Z or control Z if I'm in Windows for undo. That's fine. Don't get stressed out about it. Now, looking at the script in my storyboard, for some reason, I have this one. I have the Fab Five for 6 seconds. And so I'm looking to see why that happens to be. No, I really don't see a reason for it. Um, so I'm not necessarily gonna well, the Fab Five. Docile, goofy, great family dog. No, that's not my last video, or my last frame. So I'm not gonna stress out about it. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it as 5 seconds, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Because hey, this is your video. You can do whatever you want. And then I will go ahead and I will drag this very last frame in and drop it. Okay. And decide how long I'm going to make that frame. This one, I'm just going to go ahead and leave up for maybe 6 seconds because it's the last frame. And so it just kind of stops there. Which gives me a chance to fade out sound and stuff like that. Okay. So I've assembled all of my pieces, and now it's a matter of, adding transitions. Think of this as layers. Okay. I can put as many layers as I want on here. You can add type later on. We haven't discussed animating type. We don't want to deal with that quite yet. Okay. And then if you scroll down, you'll see that these have little microphones because this is places for your audio track to go. All right. And so this is not my voiceover. This is simply some background music that may go up or down in volume, depending upon how I want it to act. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag the entire audio track into here and let go. Okay. Now this is a 1 minute and 45-second audio track, which is as long as I want my video. So I am going to wipe out some of this video because this is too long. Okay, there we go. And so now that all that editing, I have my snapping on. So now my music track is as long as it needs to be. Now, this is your volume control. Okay, how loud do you want it? Okay, do you want it to be super loud? Where is it? Okay, or do you want it to be pretty quiet? You can see the decibels there. And I really just want it to be quietly in the background. If I want to hear what that's going to sound like, that's a little bit loud. I'm going to zoom in. I'm just sitting here making adjustments. Okay. Okay. That seems to be about right. I may decide to lower it later on if I want. Okay. And then what you're going to do is use your software, whatever software you want to use, whether you're going to use your phone, whether you're going to, if you are a Mac user, you can use QuickTime to just go ahead and record um, a voice clip. You know, you might have seen that when I've set things up. Um, where do you want it to do a um, record the screen, whether you want it to make a movie or whether you want it just to do an audio track. You would just do an audio track and then take that audio track and drag it in. All right. And so generally what I will do is I will have taken my script and I will have read through it and seen how long it takes me to read through it and adjust my video accordingly. Next, what I would do is um, kind of have this ready and kind of read it as the video is playing, but have them recording from different locations. Okay. So what you could do is go ahead and get rid of this audio track down here so that there's no sound while you happen to be doing it, which may be the best way for you to go ahead and do it. All right. And then what you're doing is I'm going to go ahead and delete this just so it's gone. You go ahead and position it, get your script ready in hand. Okay. You start your audio recording software, and then you hit play, and you just kind of go through and read your script and it's recording to whatever software device you want it to. Okay. Um, and it looks like I had not done the clipping that I need to on some of these yet, which is great. You definitely want to go through your video before you actually um, export it. So I need to come here um, and effects. I'm always happy when I forget to do things because then you get a very clear idea like, oh, I need to do that too. Um, let's move the head down here. This one didn't get clipped either. So I'm going to put an auto reframe on that one. And you can wait until the end to do this if you want. Okay. So my video is, what did I say? Like 1.4. So 1 minute, like 40 seconds. That's still, as long as you guys keep them under 2 minutes, that's fine. So that we can watch them. Um, and we don't have like a 10-minute video on something. And now your video, like I said, could be on coffee, whatever. Okay. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to open up my export window. Okay. And I can decide how I'm going to go ahead and name this thing. Okay. So I'm going to call this Clumber Shorts. Now, folks, be sure you finish the auto recording. And I actually just forgot something. I'm going to go back home. Nope, I didn't want to go home. Um, go back into here because I forgot to do transitions. Okay. Um, transitions, you can find them in a couple different places. All right. Um, But let's just go ahead and use the same effects window that we use for other stuff. If you scroll up a little bit, there's audio transitions if you want to do audio transitions, and then there's video transitions. Okay, these are different ones, whether you want it to dissolve. Um, we're not making immersive video, but it gives you some transitions depending upon how you want it to behave. But I would stay with these dissolve transitions to start with. Okay. Um, so cross dissolve is probably the easiest one to go ahead and do. Um, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop these on in these gaps. And like anything else in the software, if you want it to go away, you can actually click on it and hit delete. It does go away. I'm just dragging these wherever there is a seam in my video. And I'm going to leave that alone. If you want to kind of see what it's going to do, okay, dragging across, making sure all of these transitions are working properly. Yep, they all seem to be working properly. If you want to get a little closer and see what those look like when you're close up, there you go. You can see the cross dissolve right there. Okay. Okie doke. Now, transitions for audio are kind of the same way. Very simple things to use. Okay. So now I should be ready, especially if I go ahead. Let's go ahead and put the audio track there so that it's actually in there. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go to a Clumber demo. Okay. I'm going to back this up a little bit so I can see. Drag this back on. See how loud that is? That's good. Okay. So now I'm ready to export after all of that wonderful stuff. Okay. Export. Lumber short. Yours will be whatever. Okay. This is all the different file formats depending upon how you want it to behave. Of course, it's not an animated GIF. Okay. So I'm going to leave it on defaults, which is H.264, which is a standard. There are options if it is going to social media where it will optimize for those particular ones. And you can actually link these like you can in iMovie. iMovie allows you to export directly to social media, so you can do that. You can save it to Creative Cloud, whatever you want to do. Okay, we're going to create a media file. Okay, there's the video settings. They're going to match source. I'm not going to mess with that. There's the audio in there. It's stereo, which is great. Um, if we had captions, we could go ahead and turn those on. Um, Um, Effects, we're going to get deeper into that. Like I said, this is really a down and dirty. I'm going to go ahead and make my video kind of thing. All right. It gives you a lot of information about the video down here, and I'm going to tell it to go ahead and export. And then it's going to export depending upon how good your particular software is. Or it's not software, but your hardware. Um, This will determine, video rendering is actually fairly complicated for the computer to do. But once you get this done, watch your new video. Don't watch, you can watch it in here, but watch the one that you created or you coded. Okay, that's the one I want you to upload. Be sure that your name is in the title. Be sure that the name is in the title, and go ahead and drop that into the shared Google folder, which would be the Shorts folder. Okay, the Shorts folder in the Google shared drive. Be sure your name is in the title, please, and upload those. And you should be good to go at that point. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Make mistakes while you're doing this. This is this is that's part of learning. All right. I don't want you to get stressed out about stuff like that. All right. Like I can see right now, I already messed up. Okay, because I didn't auto reframe this. And so I could tell it to cancel and go ahead and fix that. But you will have gotten the point. All right. Um, Generally, I will watch it all the way through here in my editor to be sure everything's okay and then export it. I was trying to, this recording is already so long, I wanted to get this thing done for you. I hope that helped. And hopefully you were here on Wednesday, which so that you could see what I was talking about with my script and my storyboard for this little particular project and how I organized it. Have a great day. Um, Good luck, video editors.